Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Imperial, Issue 1, 2025. Ooh, showing us Hulk's up top, Black Panther, as well as Quill, and we've got a Nova helmet. Now, this is $6.99, so that's a pretty beefy one. And it's got some heft to it. We'll be looking through it. It's got a good amount of pages in it. I really fucking enjoyed this one. I believe that it's worth the price. Now, if not for you, that's cool. I was iffy on this. I'm like, all right, I'll see the first issue, kind of see what goes on with it, and then just fucking brought me in with what's kind of going on story wise as well as the art style. So let us jump into this here. Shall we begin? Or are you having second thoughts? After all, there's no shame in being afraid. What we are wagering is no small sum, and the cost, if you should lose, just might lead to the end of you and yours. You might be right, you probably are, but I just couldn't live with myself if I didn't try. Good. Too many these days are too afraid to gamble. Living well is not simply existing, but a life where everything is on the line. It's like, well, fuck you. And we see these people, these two people going after this thing, this kind of game. And we also see these other kind of things like going through the scenes. Really like how it kind of lays out. Do you know this game? I'm sorry, I don't. Charade is a wonderful game. Pure strategy, much like the Shi'ar contest of Daharat, or the Chameleon Dance of Light. But unlike those, this one is asymmetrical and increases in complexity with every adversary represented. Do you see? When the game starts, you do not know if you are playing against one opponent or many. Which I suppose makes it the perfect reflection, a pure representation of the game you and I are about to play. It does, and are you ready to begin? Yes. Yes, indeed, very much so. I have to tell you, I'm quite eager to see your opening moves. Oh, the first act of this game is always the same. Someone has to die, as we see something eating something else. Now, I don't know if that kind of looks Mephisto-ish or whatnot, but we will see on what's kind of going on. So then we see Light the Pyre of Hirokala. And then pretty much seeing what we've seen of previews so far. Gateway 231B. I believe that's a B. Milky Way to Andromeda. Now, do you know how it happened? Me? Not really. In fact, I don't think he knows much of anything beyond what it was, that it was unexpected and sudden, and that, according to Console, ceremony demands his attendance at the funeral. So now we're on a ship, a couple million light years away from home, sweet home. Have I ever told you how much I hate space, Amadeus? An endless sea of black death and the occasional uninhabitable rock. Of course you hate it. Only an insane person wouldn't. I guess we're both a little crazy for being here, then. Well, Jen, I've learned over the years that when the big guy insists that you do something, it's best to keep questions to a minimum. And being crazy, crazy would be telling him no. Why did you ask us to come, Bruce? And it's kind of cool. I like the look that we get from Amadeus and Jen here. And I like that it starts off big, focusing on the ship, and then zooming into the interior of the ship. Then we pretty much see ourselves dealing with Bruce and everything before they kind of ready up and get into their Hulk selves, which is bad fucking ass on that page. Because you're family, and my son is dead. Excuse me, Great One. Yes, Consul. We are about to land, and I have taken the liberty of providing the proper regalia for the ceremony. It's waiting for you and your companions in the ship's holding area. If you will follow me, let's go. You ever been here before? Sakaar and Nevo? Nope. You? I was on the old one before it was destroyed. It was not a good place. And the Cyclopedia Universum doesn't make me feel any better about the new one. Sakaar and Nevo. If there is one bright shining center of the universe, this is the planet farthest from it. Sakaar and Nevo, like its predecessor Sakaar, is a war planet, an arena of death, a place where only the strong survive. And I kind of like that we get those kind of bits throughout here, as we then of course see our Hulks. You're home, Great One. It's been far too long, and the people of Sakaar have missed you. Braun, Amadeus Chow, the fifth or sixth smartest person on Earth. She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, Lawbringer, Hulk, Bruce Banner, Worldbreaker. That's just, I really love that. That's beautiful art right there. Have they? The world is on fire. What's happened here? I do not know, my lord. I'm connected to the world net, but there is much confusion. All I know for sure is that this is not how things should be. Now, I don't know how this lines up with the Hulk of what's been going on in his solo series, but he's got control over himself, and like Hulk isn't being like, fuck you, puny Banner, and Banner's not like, fuck you, fucking Hulk. The city is rioting, in chaos when it should be in mourning for our fallen king. When a triumphant warrior regent dies on Sakaar and Nevo, there's always a ceremonial funeral, followed by a mourning period of some length. Only after that do the Dominion Games of Ascendancy begin. Do you think we could have missed the funeral? What you missed, what we all missed, was ever having a true warrior for a king. Instead, all we had was the failed and fallen hero Kala, as someone's pretty much beefing, and the console's like, eat ass. It is no small risk to harbor some thoughts, Gladiator, and a much greater one to speak them aloud. These are my words. I name you a liar, and I would die before I believe what you say. Very well, as he then gets chopped in half. Surprisingly, even though that looks horrendous, he does get better, so, okay. And you, do any of you have words you wish to speak regarding Hero Kala? No, no words. And Hulk just fucking thunder tosses this asshole. And then shows him why he's the world breaker. Like, he just goes in and goes to town on this motherfucker. Screaming. And do you have any words for me? Mercy. Wrong planet, friend. As the Hulk's smiling at that and just pretty much cracking his ass all the way down. It's like, oh shit. As Jen and Amadeus jump by, they're carrying the pieces of the console. It's like, okay, I'm just more noticing that. Did he not recognize me? Have I been gone so long that my name has been forgotten? Do you not know me? World breaker, world breaker, world breaker, world breaker. You, what has happened here? Why has the peace of Hero Kala's passing been breached? As everybody's like, oh shit. Big one. I really like the paneling layout. It doesn't do anything really kind of crazy or kinetic, but it just fits enough to be like, you see wider shots and then zooming shots when you need to. Hero Kala died, no one know how. Mystery, so Galactic Council sends sciencers to see the body. Our holiest of clerics and our most devout paladins watched as they worked. What they see, terrible. Great one, I finally cut through the world net chatter. Reconnected to the voice in the sky. I think I can explain, as the console's pretty much, it was just a flesh wound, I got better. It's like, alright. The forensic team the Galactic Council sent discovered that Hero Kala did not die of natural causes. Doo-doo-doo. It appears as if he was poisoned, murdered, and because this is Holy Sakaar and Nevo, being murdered is the same as being defeated. And being defeated means he could no longer be the rightful ruler of this testing world. All his political marriages were immediately annulled, and now the former wives of Hero Kala and their families vie for the throne, along with every other true blood-born son and daughter of Sakaar, of course. That just sounds like a complete and utter fuckfest. Which we're getting to. What do you want to do, Hulk? What I want are answers. And of course, we then kind of get them here. Yes, we're quite sure. The blood always tells the story. It was poison, well, specifically poisons. The compound would be difficult for anyone to detect, given the faint traces remaining in the victim's blood, but after a thorough examination and one to our generational expertise, it appears to us now that it was not one, but two poisons working in tandem. I believe that one of the poisons was highly adaptable to the host, constantly changing to overcome the hardiness of the victim. And once a weakness was found, the second poison became active, powerful, direct, and unyielding. Yeah, this definitely goes more kind of like, explaining in this issue, so if you don't like a lot of dialogue, I kind of get that. This definitely goes in there, but I mean, we got the Hulk pretty much ripping some motherfucker apart. Then, after reaching critical lethality, and the host was irrecoverably terminal, both became inert and began to decay. That's a fucking crazy-ass way to do that. That's impressive work. You know the diagnosis, not the poison. Thank you. It's what we do. The work is highly specialized, I'd guess. Our forensic hive is many minds. We are the foremost in our field inside the collective that is the Galactic Council. We are a specific cure for the most difficult cases. And I kind of like that we get the information this way. I mean, it kind of comes off more as plot dumpy, but I mean, we're getting people talking and giving information, so it's better than just having someone sit down and go, hi-yo! So, how'd you know to come here and check? I mean, I've done a bit of reading. Sakaar and Nevo is basically a backwater world compared to the hub galactic worlds. What caught your eye? We knew what we were looking for. And how would you know something like that? Very astute question, Hulk. In the last 2 weeks, this is the 4th leader of a Union world to have been murdered in this exact same manner. Well, ain't that fucking crazy? Be it sovereign, tyrant, or head of state, someone is killing our leaders. That's not good, as we then see the body later. Here lies Hero Kala, son of the World Breaker, of bloody hands and bloody mouth. He has earned this, for in his life he became the sun, and from that magnificent fire he returned to us, a ruling hand that was firm and fitting for all on Sakar and Nebo. And now he returns to the fire. May his fire burn bright and blind us to his new war with death. I'm going to need you to stay, as we see the Hulk talking to Jen. What? Cho and I are going with the medic to the council hub so their collective can determine precisely where the poison came from. And then, when they figure out who is behind this, I'm going to throw that person in the nearest black hole. Great. Perfect. So I think I'd much rather tag along instead of staying here. Family business, right? It's like, you would think, but then Hulk's actually thinking here. Yes, but so is this. This world still recognizes my authority, but the wars of secession will resume. That is assured. It is what this place is and who these people are. I have declared a period of mourning 5 days for the 5 former wives of Hirokala. But that peace will not last an hour if someone is not here to remind them of the real power on this world. So I need you to stay. Will you? 5 days? Sure, I can do 5 days, but are you sure that's enough time? Will you be back by then? You have my word. And it's like, okay. And it does make sense. Out of anyone, Jen usually has the power and the strategical kind of thinking, depending upon where she's at in her Hulkitude, to handle a kind of situation like this. So I understand him going more for Jen rather than Amadeus. Amadeus would be more useful in trying to figure out and suss out certain kind of tech shit and poisons and shit. The Hulk would not return in 5 days. And okay, so that's just the body burning and just seeing that. It's like, oh, that's not good. And of course, we then get a splash page. And we get to 2, through the Fulcrum. And we then shift to this galactic hub. It's really kind of cool. We're like, all right, this is what's going on here. And now we're going to the Fulcrum Station. Fulcrum City Station, the galactic hub. Primary construction of the Galactic Council's interstellar hub was completed 2 cycles ago. The project immediately proceeded with a secondary Phase 2 expansion, which is currently underway. When it first came online, the publicly stated purpose of the hub was to provide a central nexus for both intergalactic travel and trade between Council territories. Okay. However, some believe the true reason for its existence is the formation of a centralized political power structure and an origin point for what is suspected to be a formalized union of the Galactic Council systems. All council members have denied such rumors. Interesting. Then we shift. Is there any hope at all? Empress Victoria's condition is unchanged. Cryogenesis has halted the effects of the poison, but we cannot manufacture an antidote or find a cure without identifying the origin of the toxin. And here is where we get into Jason and Quill, as we learn that the sister has been poisoned. No. What about the others? You sent medics out. Surely when they return when the hive is reunited. We will do our best, Prince Quill, but I would not hold out too much hope. We got lucky that the poison became active when she was here receiving her annual royal evaluation, so we've got other ones dying. We've got someone who was lucky enough to be in the process to be cryogenically frozen, so it's like, shit. You'll let me know as soon as you know something? Of course, Emperor Jason. Emperor? Never let a good crisis go to waste, huh? Delicate times, son, and the Spartoi needs someone to lead. So now I wear the ring again. What else am I to do? Nothing? I didn't mean anything by... Look, I understand the situation, Dad, but you know me, incapable of facing tragedy while smirking at it. It's like, yeah, Quill's got to do some kind of dig. ... Do you think she's going to be alright? If she dies, your half-sister will make the 4th leader inside the Galactic Council to mysteriously perish on the eve of our largest meeting in cycles. So what's the objective here? That this is happening right when we're negotiating the sovereignty, treaties, and laws that will govern this place is a serious problem, Peter. So you think there's something more to this? If you're asking me if I believe in coincidences, no, I do not. It's like, get that. I like seeing the differences of Peter and his father Jason, but yet also their similarities. I will burn an offering and kiss God's feet if it means your sister's somehow saved, but that's beyond my control. What is not is finding out why this is happening, if I can do something about it. Nice. You need to understand, Peter, as soon as the council is assembled and called into session, I will lose control of the situation. It will become political, quickly, and involve more than just the Spartoi. So I need someone acting on our behalf outside of that system. Understand? So I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly their complete and utter relationship. I know they've got a strained relationship. But this is interesting to ask him for help like this. This is kind of like my introduction here to what's going on with these characters in the story, and I like the kind of handle so far. I do. Just a little job for Star-Lord. I'm on it, Dad. No, son. Average like you are fine when it comes to gunfights and gambling. What I need is someone with an acute sense of law and order, as we're seeing. They're going in. It's like, who are we going on here for? And more than that, a mind for solving crimes. So, of course, that's how we're going to bringing in Nova. But first, we check in Hulk coming in here. You'll let us know as soon as you can confirm the results, as soon as I am able. Unfortunately, there are larger concerns at hand beside yours. Until then, these men will see to your needs. Where can we take you, ambassadors? I'm not, never mind. Just tell us who's in charge here. This is a shared diplomatic outpost. As such, many want to appear to be in charge, but few actually want the responsibility. Too fucking true. Ugh. Yeah, but there's always a guy, right? That would be Jason of the Smart Toy. Take me to him. It's like, okay, Hulk ain't fucking around. The underbelly, the lower levels of the fulcrum, which I really like the use of purple and glowiness there. Heard I might find you here, of course, seeing Nova's helmet. Looks like my kind of place. You're wrong there, Quill. And why is that? I have credits. I like beer. Look around. There's a couple of space knights, a few decommissioned Imperial guardsmen. That's the light brigade over in the corner, and then there's me. It's like seeing everybody else. Kind of cantina scene-ish. And then, of course, we pop in and we're like, alright, let's see what's going on here. One of the last two Novas in the universe. The planet Xandar, home of the fabled Nova Corps, was destroyed in the annihilation wave of 18,920 GVD. Now all that remains of the Xandaran culture are the two remaining Novas and the long-dormant world mind of that society. I get it, Rich. You're trying to tell me I'm too cool for the room. Agreed. What I'm saying is that everyone in this bar thinks the only place you belong is up on that wall, which, surprising absolutely no one, is exactly where you are, seeing a wanted reward thing in Peter's fucking face. Well, that's just a terrible picture, and all of that was a misunderstanding. Totally clear it up now. Someone should take that down. Why are you here, Peter? I've pulled every string, called in every favor, and the council session is scheduled to begin in less than a cycle. How much longer until everyone gets here? Of course, shifting to Jason. The Kree Skrull delegation has just arrived, which means everyone you wanted to be here is, except one exception. Who? Kalark, the Wakandans. Okay. Any word on as why? Their current position, clearly stated and intractable, is that they are comfortable with their existing treaties and see no reason to insult what alliances they have by breaking any contracts or formal agreements. Definitely just a political thing there. We cannot mass-produce the latest generation of Stargates without their vibranium. So, they're trying to hold them over a barrel for that. We cannot afford the volume of vibranium we need to see those Stargates throughout the universe at their current price. These are facts they are well aware of, so the Wakandans are trying to do something. It's like, okay. Oh, and also, very good quality. Here's the middle. No loose pages or anything, baby. So, are they playing for power or wealth? Good questioning there, Jason. What is the objective to this? It's, okay, we need Stargates and everything. We need the vibranium. Why can't we just talk about something like this? We Shi'ar worship two gods for a reason, Jason. Why one when two is so much better? Yeah, could be both. By that logic, why not a third? I'm sorry if you'll... exactly, leading to monotheism. If you'll excuse me, we'll need to finish this in the council. Something's come up. Of course, this then shows the Hulk popping up. It's like, okay, I'm not as well versed with Hulk and Jason, but like seeing them together like this is very interesting. Ambassadors, how can I help you? We're not. Leave it, as Amadeus is more in his human form. Well, technically his Hulk form's a human form too, but like amped up gamma. He knows why we're here. A series of murders have been committed. My son was among them. I want to know what you know. I know that my daughter is lying in stasis, dying an impossibly slow death, and soon to join the other victims. Beyond that, nothing has been confirmed. As soon as it is, I will let you and everyone else know. But until that time, as the only representative of your planet on this station, I would like to invite you to sit in our Galactic Council meeting. See what's ahead for the universe and all the worlds she contains. And it should go without saying, but I'm very sorry about your son. It's an evil thing that's happened, and whoever did it must pay. He hated me. And Hulk hits for that beat. And I'm like, okay, even though Jason is going through this stuff, he is doing a very amicable job of doing that, holding and being like, my daughter. And being like, I'm sorry for your son. He's like, excuse me? He hated me. The circumstances don't matter. All that does is that I failed him in some way, and I will never be able to fix it. And I'm like, God damn, I feel for Hulk on that. No, granted, I'm not a father. Alright? But I get him wanting to try and fix a relationship like that. Of a life full of regrets and unforgivable sins, this might be my worst. Do you have any idea how angry that makes me? And it's like, zooming in like that. It's like, it could be bigger, but that's very effective. Then we see pretty much Richard and Quill watching pretty much a boxing thing. And Richard Ryder, yeah. And what's supposed to be the appeal of this? Gambling, violence, harmless fun. It's like, for certain people. Doesn't look harmless. Well, the War Stars... Let me see here. No. Trying to type one-handed is a bitch. Yeah. Well, the War Stars used to be a big deal in the Imperial Guard, but since they've been decommissioned, not so much. Really? Yeah, it turns out in that class of Super Guardians, the Mammoths are more durable, and the Neosari are more versatile. And so they did what any good former guardsman who knows nothing but the guard would do. The remaining beanies started looking for the best way to enhance their sea sills, which led to the War Star Arena. Now, even though they're using some kind of weird shit, I'm like, what the fuck? But it's like, okay, they had nothing to do, so they just started pretty much blood sport fighting kind of shit. It's like, okay, they train, and they kind of see how that kind of works out. So now we get to watch and cheer, and they break until the tank-like sea sills break. Then the beanies grow a new sea sill, improved and enhanced from the experience. Iron shapes iron, and one day, when the good Magistrix smiles favorably upon them, they will be recalled into service, and have their honor restored. Because everyone needs a purpose? Yes. Just like unsolved crimes need solving. It's too bad that you're out of work. I'm not out of work. I'm retired. So bored? A bit. Seeing him look at the helmet and everything going on was like, interesting. The research receipt cracking and everything. So we do see some action going on, but we're really kind of waiting for it to go down. Man, do I have some good news for you. Let me guess. You want to offer me a job? Yeah, I do. We need you. My father requested the best, and he's willing to foot the bill. So what do you say? God, no. What? I said no. Why? The thing is, sure, we know each other well enough and we kind of get along. But last time I checked you're a criminal, I said that was a misunderstanding, and your father's a power-hungry aristocrat, which is just a different kind of criminal. I'm liking it more and more here, even though I'm not that well-versed with them. I'm like, yep. And more often than not, a good bit worse. So nothing personal, but your money's no good here. Well, I hate to hear that. This probably won't be the last time I disappoint my father, but if you were to change your mind, the offer stands. I like to zoom in on the helmet and be like, alright, let's crack on this. Especially since it's on the cover, too. Then, we go back to our players. We are sure, then, barring a miracle, Empress Victoria cannot be saved. Not to our players, but linking into what's going on here. Unfortunately, that is correct. She can remain in stasis indefinitely, but the deed is done. All that's left is the waiting. She will die by the same poisons as the rest. And we are also confident in one other thing, Emperor. We know exactly who made this. So it's like, oh shit. It's almost like we've got a couple of different kind of issues in here. 3. Poison the water, poison the well. As we then get to the whole thing that's going on here, it's like, alright, are they kind of linked into this? I regret this. I truly do. But it was my hope that this meeting would be about trade and treaties and other matters that predominantly concern the bringing together of our empires. That's cool. But that will have to wait, because there can be no union when there are people in this room who seek the deaths of those who sit beside them. There's been a murder done. Regicide. As, of course, it starts in on his face, zooming out, before we get this great 2-pager showing all these people of the galactic leaders. And it was one of you. It's like, oh shit. And of course you can look through, see the different kind of ones. You see Dork, you see Wiccan, you see Ronan, you see the Shi'ar, you see Hulk and Amadeus, you see some others on the left side and everything. What did he just say? This is danger, Magistrix and Zandra. Agreed. Murder? Do we know about this, Clerk? Did we know about this, Clerk? No, Emperor Dork. He speaks truth. By the 4 powers, I can see it. Of course, seeing these kind of horse people, like, cool. Zooming in on the Hulks. My daughter, the Sakaran King, the throne guardian of the empty Orion chair, and the last witch of the Zartan Deviants. It's like, ooh, Deviants. Name dropping some interesting ones there. It's like, so those were the ones that were picked first. All of them killed by the exact same poisons. This was confirmed by the medical hive of this council. Who do they answer to? And why is this going on like this? One of the poisons is highly mutable and adaptable. The other, incredibly direct and aggressive, like the races they come from, the Skrull and the Kree. And Dork's like, what? Wicked's like, shit, fuck, what? It's true. Emperor Dork, the origins of these acts lead back to you, and please, four such simultaneous incidences across four disparate empires. Don't try to blame this on dissidents or rebels. Yeah, that's got to be coordinated as shit. This took planning and means. At the least, it took a government. At the worst, a throne. Teddy would never. How dare you accuse him of this? For to do so is solely the domain of Ronan the Accuser. And in this, I want answers. Arrest him! Arrest them all! It's like, okay. Wait, this can't be right. I wouldn't do anything, order anything like this. It has to be wrong or someone else. Do you know anything about this, Clert? Was it you and the other separatists? I have humbled myself to breathe life into your alliance, your majesty. And though your question chafes, I can tell you it was not us. And if it was not the Skrull faction, not the Blue Kree, then it must have actually your majesty. And it's like, oh shit. And then you just learn, you really need to keep tabs on shit. It was us. What? And I do like how the different kind of paneling goes here. It's just how it focuses. The Kree Skrull Ministry of Science was contracted to create a compound toxin, so we did. This is what we do. Make weapons of war. So always be careful when you do that kind of shit. But we did not use it. We simply delivered it. To who? Yes, who? Other parties of the council. But we did, and of course, they get stopped by someone, and action goes insane as we see, boom. It's like, ah, shit. Sniper! Ah, Herc! Where is he? The assassin is using gravity runs, and I think he's firing from a hidden location. But one more, and I'll be able to calculate his position. This is why you have Emma to show with you on this. But then we see Jason shot. Dad, no! There! And then Hulk just jumps up, and I really like to see that jump and that kind of land as we see the gun. But then we see Wakandan. It's like, what the hell? As Hulk, Wakandan. Tech. And then we see something bop up, and then they click down on it, and we see, boom, an explosion. Like, holy shit. Now, they are definitely gotten Wakanda tech. We don't know if this is T'Challa. Now, I don't know how this would line up with what's going on in the Avengers, because T'Challa just got out of one of the Ashen Combine prisons, and T'Challa wouldn't normally do this. So we'd have to see why this is going on. This is an insane page, and I love the use of the paneling to keep it off on the initial explosion, then everybody kind of flying out, and then we see Hulk being like, "Rrr." And then we see that the agent flies off on pretty much a bike. The Stargates are already being locked down. The assassin's not getting out of the system. Please, help us save who we can. And I really like that. Hulk wants to go after him, but then someone asks them to help save who they can, and he does. 4. Nature abhors a vacuum. Later, of course later, we see people kind of checking in. Any word? 12 dead. 3 more heads of state. Which is nuts. So that brings us our total to pretty much 7. And more than twice that number missing. Rescue droids are combing the area outside the station, but as you know, Peter Quill's space is vast and the vacuum always harsh. Nothing about Dork the 8th. Yes. And his consort remain among the missing. What happened here today will echo through our empire. The center may not hold. And the others? A great war machine is forming. Ronin has summoned the accusers. Most of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard is en route along with a sizable amount of the Royal Fleet. The same goes for most of the others. Deathbird has called for an audience. Everyone is gathering. I understand. I'll be right there. As he goes to his father's body, picks up the ring, and puts it on. You're a little late for the cavalry. Well, not puts it on, but like has it in his hand. And I like that close-up of his face as he then says this. But then we see he's been looking at the helmet. Now it's on. And he's glowing. Kind of goes hand in hand with being one of the last survivors of a dead empire. That just means you're a bad omen, Rich. It does. And I heard what happened, and I'd like to help. Okay. I'm sorry about all this. Will you help me catch the people who did this? And I love that. Now, he was joking and joshing, trying to get him before, but now it's serious mode. That I can do. An hour later, we should begin, and start with what we've learned. You know who did this, Deathbird? I have evidence in my hands and judgment in my heart. All an accuser needs to sleep soundly at night. Then let's hear it then. Very well. The council medics removed the ballistics from the victims' bodies and scoured station security footage of the attacker, while the accusers on New Hollow were able to do a rapid analysis of who paid the science minister for the poisons, 2 streams of data that flow into a roaring river of guilt. So who was it? And then, of course, we hit back to our two game players first before we get to the end. And so it comes to this, an inflection point, when all eyes turn and shadows rise to reveal the real enemy. Oh, I do love surprises, as I love the great game and the pieces who play it well. As we see, of course, that thing that was eating the one thing is now eating the other. It's like, okay, what's going to be the thing here? The accusers traced the payment bank to the banking houses on Wakanda Prime, and the bullets we took from the bodies were made of vibranium, fired by an agent of that empire. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is the empire behind it. What do we know now? There's blood on our feathers and the bitter taste of betrayal in our mouths. It will not go unanswered. There's one thing that can follow: war. Of course, got the Hulk like that. It's like, oh shit. Then, of course, teasing Imperial issue 2. Now there are also going to be other one-shots. So this is 4 issues. This really, I was really surprised. Now, this is more kind of talky. I'm really going to get that. But we did get some action of the Hulk kind of showing off. I'm World Breaker, bitch. Eat my ass. And then, of course, the someone with Wakandan gear, because we don't know who it is at this point, doing the whole assassination and getting everything crazy. I liked the kind of setup here. I know it is more kind of just laying the groundwork. Those are always the kind of harder kind of issues. I can't believe it invested me as much as it did. I liked Hickman's handle on Worldbreaker, Hulk, Cho, and Jen, and then Quill, Richard, Jason, and seeing them kind of dealing with all this kind of stuff. This really hit me on kind of like the father-son relationship with Hulk and him losing his son, and the kind of father-son relationship with Jason and Peter, and also the extent of his sister as well, because his sister's pretty much dead, unless they can do some kind of things here. Now, I know this is a kind of political intrigue and everything going on. I don't think that it is Wakanda's policies to do this, but with the setting of the stage of like Wakanda being the one kind of out and vibranium being needed to facilitate more kind of trade jump points and stargates and everything to make this hub kind of better and have more people be able to congregate, that kind of leads to other kind of elements within Wakanda Prime and their galactic empire that might be supplying other kind of things as well, and especially the two game players at this. I liked this setup. I liked how this was portioned out. It almost felt like mini ones throughout all of them, and I loved that Richard answered the call to action of like at the end, especially how it's become a kind of bigger one, and he's like, I don't want to deal with your dad, and it's like, all right, I'll deal with you. You're a criminal, but I can deal with you. And I'm like, let's catch these people. It's like, okay, the mystery. I kind of want to see what's going on. Now, Quill's probably going to have to assume control on the Smart Toy and be kind of behind the scenes at this moment, trying to hold certain kind of stuff together. It would have been more interesting potentially to have like Peter Quill and Richard Rider kind of going off and exploring and trying to solve this kind of case, but it's going to be interesting to see who Richard kind of like pulls into and tries to help him play this out, and I just really like seeing what was going on there. We'll have to see what happened to Dork, Hulkling, and Wiccan. So they're kind of in the wind, and it kind of really sucked that their science department pretty much made this kind of poison. It really kind of fucked shit up. And now that they're in the wind, the Kree Skrull Empire could potentially break apart and do other kind of shit, because the only one potentially holding it together is Clerk, Super Skrull at this point, and he was pretty much part of the Separatist kind of forces. So there's a lot of shit going on in here. The art was really awesome. I loved the handle of the characters. Now, if $6.99 does not interest you, and you want to potentially wait for it to come out and trade back, totally get that. That's how I follow some other kind of stuff as well. This really pulled me in. Again, the handling of the characters, the art style, I really love how all the characters are designed, how it flows throughout the comic. And I'm really interested to see what happens when more action kind of gets into the effect. I felt I got my money's worth out of this. Now, you will have to see that for yourself. Totally get that. I don't fault anybody for that. I want to make sure that people get the understanding. This is pretty beefy. I mean, yeah. So do with that as you will. If you want to wait a little bit, I mean, I've waited a little bit for certain kind of ones as well, but I really like this, and it's dealing with characters that I don't really interact with that much. And Hulks in space normally don't really happen that much. So this is definitely interesting, especially with Hulk being on the warpath of like, yeah, fuck you people. So, those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.